the director of accounts with Codingscape, so she's not only an amazing woman in tech, but she's also a small business owner of Republic Goods downtown, which is an amazing store, and she's going to talk about all things small business and community and
whatever you guys want to talk about is what I want to talk about.
yeah. So oh, and then before I forget, let's do one raffle winner now. We have 3 things to give away, so let's start it with a bang.
Exciting.
Yeah.
What do they win, like a new car?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Our first number is 3991117. Woo!
All right.
Also, King is one of our presenters at Level Up tomorrow night to see our pitches with our judges. So feel free to sign up and come to that as well. We're excited for that. And we'll let Noel take it from here.
Awesome. All right. So before I get started, I made a presentation, but we can also totally scrap it if it's not relevant to what you guys, where you are right now in your building journeys. So I have questions for you guys first. Like, there's different levels of like builder, like ideation stage, you already own a company, you're like working at a startup. So by show of hands, how many of you like currently like run or own a company? Okay, great. How many of you are like in startup like tech companies? Awesome. And then how many are like ideation? You're thinking about it. All right. Okay, cool. Awesome. So I would love it if you guys like literally just raise your hand and ask me like any questions as I'm going through this. So what do you guys think is the most difficult part of like being a business owner or building things? Like what's on your mind? We'll keep giving it. Yeah.
People.
Yes. Always like, yes, that is the hardest part of business. Otherwise, it's just theoretical BS, right? It's like the people is the X factor of like, oh, it all fell apart or rests on that thing.
Right.
Anyone else? Okay, so maybe I'll spend some time on the people.
Following government compliance.
Oh, yes. Are you in an industry that's like heavy government regulation?
No, not really, but I'm just saying that just doing the startup and everything, sort of the same.
That's also my least favorite part, which I feel like makes it feel more awful. Because when you are a builder, it's like you usually want to like ideate and do all the sexy stuff and not like fill out like tax forms. But yep. Okay. So I'm going to go through 0 to 1 for Republic Goods and take you through some of my background. So I own a store in downtown Las Vegas. I have a video I'll show you guys in a second. But in general, I've mostly been in retail. Am I doing this right? Oh wait. This way?
Do you want me to do it?
I'm guessing it's this right arrow. Do I need to like go to like here maybe? What if we
Cricket? Maybe the battery.
or I can just manually do it. Yeah, this is what it's like to be a business owner. It's like had a plan. Nope, didn't not quite. All right.
Sorry, we just had to activate the window again.
Oh, okay, that's what I
clicked off
thought.
earlier.
Okay, cool. So I'm not here to teach you guys like vibe coding or cool engineering stuff at all. It's more about like mindset. So if anyone's like, I want to learn how to vibe code, like you'd probably be better off just leaving right now and like spending this hour teaching, watching a YouTube. But I'm going to teach you how I think about business, and you can literally like outsource all of the rest. So this is the agenda that we're going to kind of go through today. We can spend more time or less time depending on what you guys would like. And this is me. I'm Noel. I'm from Las Vegas. I believe that great systems and great vibes can coexist, and that's like where my magic lies. I built some stuff, led stuff, made stuff better, and so right now I work at Codingscape. We are a remote first software company, and we build custom software for other companies. So we're consultants. One of our biggest clients is Roblox. We build them internal tooling. And I do account management, which means like I sit like in the square in the like people part. I have to make sure that our customers have like the highest ROI spend when they invest in us to build them things. A lot of the founders are from Las Vegas. Jimmy is the one who voluntold me to do this today. So, yes. And he's
Pavel
great.
is one of our panelists tomorrow night, their CTO, so.
Yeah, that's Pavel's so good. He will teach you how to buy code. If you want to learn how to do that, he's amazing. And I love that culture so much that it inspired me to build a side hustle that I could still keep that job full time. So that's like one of the ways I thought about building a business is I want to build a business that can run without me. I had a startup called Casa. It failed, but I had investment and we tried, and that's kind of how that goes. And then I worked for Zappos, and while I worked there, I was the first buyer of eyewear watches, and we acquired a company called 6PM from eBags when they were like coming through on a tour. And so built that, one of the founding members, and I'm what I like to call an entrepreneur, so I have a lot of experience building things within an existing organization. And so we built 6PM to $1 billion business within Zappos with like literally no resources because no one thought it was sexy. And I didn't realize that $1 billion from 0 to $1 billion was a big deal until I left Zappos. And people were like, wow, that's a lot. And I was like, is it? Because I had no clue. I actually have reviews on myself. I highly recommend it if you're an entrepreneur. This comes more handy than you think it does. It's kind of like a check my references thing. And so when I put together decks, when I'm trying to convince someone to like trust me, I'm like, don't take my word for it. And I have quotes from other people. So I highly recommend if you have worked with anyone who works for something that has a high level of trust, like the company they work for is a high level of trust, people know them, they have a big title on LinkedIn. It sounds crazy, it comes in handy. And this is a thing I recently built, which is Republic Goods. It's located in the Arts District in downtown Las Vegas. I just did this store tour literally to put it in here. But this is what the store looks like. Each of these booths, it's like an in real life Poshmark. So each of these booths is rented out. People pay $35 a week. From a business perspective, it's two business models on top of each other. So I have a real estate play and I have a retail play. The real estate play is each of those booths, a seller pays $35 a week for, and then when items sell, the store takes 1/3, and I Venmo them 2/3 at the end of the week, and that's how the business model works. Let's see. So let's start at 0. This is where we all start. This is the hardest part, I think, of business. But the most fun part is like the 0 to 1. I could live in 0 to 1 all day. I'm realizing that's where I want to be. So this, if I was gonna take a picture of any screen I've shown you, it's like this is the one. It's not even my content. This is a book. It's so easy to read. But if you ever want to get in the mindset of how do I build something that I don't become just an employee of, I can take vacations, I can scale it without myself. This is the book to read. It's so easy to read. It's written like a story. So it's about a guy who owns an advertising agency, and one day he's like, I want to sell this agency and retire. And he realizes that every single aspect of his business revolves around him personally, and so therefore it has no value. Because it only retains value if he's involved. Highly recommend reading it, but this is my first main mindset, is how do I build this so that I could scale this? I want to do hundreds of these things. So in the beginning, when you're at a 0, you start looking for opportunities. Most of you have businesses, so I'm not going to spend much time on that. But also, I ran a process as if I was going to ask for investment, even though I didn't. So even if no one else sees it, this will just help you kind of make sure I thought through everything. And so I literally made a deck. Maybe because I just came from the startup world, but I made myself my own pitch deck that I would just show to people that I thought were smart. And I'd be like, hey, I'm not asking for anything, but check this out and let me know if I'm missing something. And I highlighted this one slide that I did because I want to show you also a hack. Oh wait, did I mess up?
Yeah. Oh, did you mean to turn?
Yeah. I just highlighted that because that's one of my slides in my deck, but I'm going to show you guys why I'm gonna dig into that. But you can see I did a P&L, I thought through my business model, and all of that. My business is based on a franchise. So I don't think you should reinvent the wheel if you don't need to. In fact, if you're gonna copy someone, you probably wanna change like the least amount as possible because they spent a shit ton of money figuring out how to do it right, and you're a one person, like, maybe even self-funded team. It's like, if Chipotle has a team paying millions and millions of where they should be located, and you want the same customer, just build where Chipotle is. Like, don't do the research, they did it for you. So, I looked at a franchise and I was like, I wanna do that, I'm gonna learn more. A hack about franchises is, legally they have to give you all their information if you are even considering buying a franchise, which is also a hack. So I gotta literally see like another similar store model, all of their numbers. And so I looked at their numbers, I thought about their model, I thought about the differences between a franchise versus what I would do. I personally wouldn't do a franchise unless it had IP or some sort of branding. Like, if it's a McDonald's, it's like, yeah, starting your own hamburger joint, there is value in having a McDonald's and having the name and having all that proprietary formulas, information, customer database. For this store, this is called Indie Clover, the one that is here, started in Utah, they're all over the US now. I was like, cool, this model's so smart. And I talked to them, got information, and then realized like, based on the questions I was asking, I was like, oh, they don't even know all this information? Like, oh yeah, remind me, like I know a lot about retail because I come from retail. And having their numbers helped me make sure that when I ran numbers, they were like based in reality. And then obviously it's zero. If you have no inventory, which is what I built, you welcome to the double-sided marketplace, which I know a lot of people are not a fan of doing as a business. It's really hard. It means you have to control supply and demand versus like a regular store, you like buy your own inventory and you just have to get customers. I have to get all of the inventory every week and I have to get all of the customers every single week. No money, well, welcome to being your biggest investor. I pulled out all my Amazon stock money that I had from working at Zappos and used that to invest in myself. Because I thought, yeah, I can invest in Amazon, but maybe I should invest in myself. Like, I think I'm a great investment. I think I can make high returns. And then no customers, like, welcome to being your own hype woman. And that's probably the scary, finances and this is probably the scariest thing, and I can see this stop more people, surprisingly, than like the money. So I'm gonna let you guys know, this is one of my biggest piece of advice, is to take up more space. Like, I run a brand where I am part of the brand. I know people have brands where they're not part of the brand, but it works when people see you and you give them insight into like, you're a normal person, you're from Vegas, you show them how to do things, you're teaching you stuff, you're showing them behind the scenes. Like, people respond really well to that. I don't have well-polished videos, I don't know how to edit, like none of it. So I also think, considering when you're starting your business, what's your unfair advantage? And even when you're hiring people or assembling a team, what unfair advantages are they bringing to you? I heard a quote once that's like, out of all the businesses and all your competitors, it's like every company's top 5 to 10 employees making decisions strategically versus the other company's 5 to 10 top employees. Like, it's like that, like such a small amount of top team people versus each other. And I believe that. So your unfair advantages is like where you excel uniquely. That can look, for me, this is what it looks like. I understand retail, I understand systems, I understand customer service, I understand teaching and mentoring, processes, and relationships. Like, this is where if someone were like, Noel's really good at, they would list like one of these things probably. When this shows up, it looks like this. So I know this slide has a lot of blah on it, but it means like I can quickly make decisions to consider long and short-term decisions. Like, I'm like this on fire. I used to be a buyer. You have to make a million decisions all the time and have portfolios of like hundreds of millions of dollars. So I'm like very decisive. I understand how to create systems. I used to be a business process architect. Like, I see things in systems. I'm confident enough to throw together websites and find tech experts. I've worked in tech. I'm not scared of a website. I'm not scared of trying something and failing. I'm used to thinking outside the box for having to build Scrappy. At Zappos, I had 0 resources. even though Zappos sounds like you would have all the resources, that's 6.0. So we always had to get scrappy, and like the software that Republic Gets runs off of is not intended to be used how we use it to make it work for our use case. I'm okay to fail, I'm okay to learn fast. I even do it publicly on Instagram. I'll be like, I tried this thing, it didn't work. I apologize to people when I mess up. I give them free boots, and I say, I'm sorry, I'm a month old, and I'm learning this, it didn't work. And they always know I'm like trying to do the right thing, and I'm doing it for them to increase their sales. I'm comfortable with reading and writing a P&L. I have a family member that was a carpenter, which was super helpful. My parents are here today. They've worked in the store. They've had to do all the jobs. So is the rest of my family. I have a husband in real estate and flipping. He can project manage. So when I got the store, it looked like I almost had an anxiety attack. It looked so bad. But he helped me with that. I know a bunch of fashion insiders. So like I was able to get like curate the right sort of inventory in the booths. I understand affiliate marketing for working like all the jobs at Zappos and building 6 p.m. And I know just enough of like what I like to call ChatGPT to help you out where it's like, oh, I wish I had someone to research this or to help me rewrite this and I'm too tired. It's like, we got ChatGPT for that stuff. So I also recommend to not give anything away for free. Even though I said I gave free boots to Zappos people, every time I've gifted a booth, it's like a marketing. I think of it in the marketing spend bucket. And so if you give stuff away for free, especially in a double-sided marketplace, it is not valued, like at all. Like if I gave you all a free booth, you'd probably like, I don't want to like stereotype that this like happen. You'd show up and be like, well, I was gonna donate these anyways. And it's like stuff that you don't have to think about, am I gonna make the money back that I've spent on the booth? So I'm gonna bring in good things, I'm gonna price them well. You're just gonna be like, meh. So I also recommend, like even for your friends, I like don't give them free boots unless I'm like their closets are gonna be fire. Like I'm like, no. Or they're gonna tell everyone, or they're gonna, like it's never just like a free thing. And also, if you're giving away everything for free, then how are you going to know if people actually want the thing you have? It's going to take you longer to figure that out. So one of my top principles is people first, because people is the hardest part. Being a manager is the hardest job. And so this time I introduced you to Kat. She's at the store today, so she's my store manager, and she's amazing. And when the store was 4 months old, I left for 2 weeks and nothing broke. And the more impressive part is she also left we were both gone and everything was fine. So like, I read that book, I'm very serious about it. And out of all the business things I've done, I'm most proud of that my business can run 100% without me in it. And it even ran without my manager in it, which was kind of not planned, but like, and I think that's pretty impressive. So the key skills, if you want something to run without you, you have to have someone who's in charge. Like it's very hard to run a completely flat organization. So you need someone in charge who has like a certain set of skill sets, and these are the ones that I would boil down that Kat has and other people who can run stuff have, which are they take initiative. Kat saw me on Instagram, once again, you gotta get out there, you gotta like do that thing, put your face out there. Saw me, reached out to me and was like, I just moved here, I would love to work there. And I was so impressed, I was like, let me take you to coffee. That she reached out. She's super outgoing, she has great customer service, she says hi to everyone, she's easy to talk to. She's a problem solver because she also is an entrepreneur. So she has her own online store. When I used to hire for Zappos and I was looking for someone, when you're a buyer, you have to think like a shopkeeper because you run a multi-million-dollar portfolio. You have to do a lot of, no one's there to direct you on what to do. I would always look for people who showed entrepreneurial mindset and skills, which can look like I actually have like a running business, or I write a blog and you go to the blog and they're consistent. Like every day they're writing this damn blog. And you're like, wow, no one's asking them to do that. They're just doing it, they're taking initiative. And that can show up like they're an influencer, that can show up like a side hustle. There's a lot of ways that can show up, but that is like the #1 thing I would say, because they can't can't not think like an owner. It's like who they are. I'm like this too. Even when I work for Codingscape, I'm like, this is none of my business, but I'm gonna give you my advice as if I'm a partner at this company. Pick someone you wanna hang out with, because if you wanna hang out with them, it'll make your job better. Other people will also probably like them. Make sure they're confident, and make sure they get the vibes. And by vibes, I mean like your culture. Like if you're like, we're all about service, if they're not obviously and apparently all about service, either one, you have not communicated clearly that this place needs to be all about service, or they're never gonna be all about service. So like, I don't care if they're the best entrepreneur, they're never gonna like run it like you would in the way that you would. So how to keep good people is you have to value them. You have to think about it like someone's gonna scoop them up because they are so amazing. They don't need you, you need them. It is so hard to find someone who's really amazing that like, how much is it worth to you? Like, you don't wanna keep going through good people. Like, that's insane, it's expensive, it's a lot of turmoil. So what I do for the store manager is I pay her an hourly rate and then I pay her commission. So when she's acting like an entrepreneur, when she's increasing sales via Instagram and other ideas, when she's greeting and taking care of customers so they come back, when she's analyzing numbers and figuring out who's making the most money in their booths, and incentives, like giving them free booths to come back, making sure they're having an amazing time. Anything that she does over our average in sales as a company, she gets a percentage of. I figure I wouldn't have it anyways if she wasn't doing it. So why not share it? And I highly recommend thinking of all the ways in which people are motivated. I gift her things. If we're in the store and she's like, oh my God, I love this Coach vintage bag, I'll just like surprise her and like buy it for her. Be like, hey, I buy you this bag because you said you love it. You should totally have it. Thank you so much for explicitly doing this, 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 and this. I love it that you do those things. And then you see it run downhill. You see she talks to other people like that. And I try to catch anyone I can doing something great and doing little like gifts for them. I know tax purpose, you're not supposed to gift anything over $25. I'm not a tax advisor, so like, but I give things over $25. I don't care. So that's like one of the ways in which I value people. I also, because I want to scale this, I talk to every employee in my store like they could become my business partner someday, and I teach them everything I know. I'm like, maybe they want to move to Idaho one day and start their own store like this. They'll know how to do it, and that's fine with me. So next is any questions about people? Any like that maybe I could help answer, or a specific situation? Yes.
So you talk about like retaining and keeping good people all the time. So have you ever hired someone and then you look at them and you make a decision like, if they're subpar or not, you do typically, I feel like boundaries go two ways. And what's your recommendation? It's like see the potential and try and train up, or you just go early on and cut it out as quickly as possible.
I think it depends on exactly what you think needs to be trained on. There are some things I believe you can train someone on, like how to use a system, because you know they have intellectual horsepower. It's not gonna be a problem. Teaching them how to like provide excellent service when they naturally like are customer adverse or have bad judgment. Like you'll see it, like someone will come in and they'll like make a crazy, ridiculous complaint that you're like, in your head, you're like, that's crazy. But outwardly you go, let me see if I can fix this for you. Because you know it's an opportunity to make like a loyal customer. Like it's the best opportunity. But some people will just like be triggered and they'll be like, well, that's not our policy anyway. And you're like, that? I would be like, nah, I can't change that. That's like you're triggered by something that's happened to you. Maybe you need a therapist. Like it's not my type of thing. It's outside the scope of what I can provide in this environment. So I think it depends exactly where you see they have potential to be, and be like, can I train them? Or is this like innately who they are? And it's like beyond me. Yeah. Because if you hire someone that's smart, even if I'm like all the systems we use in the store are new to me and new to Kat. She learns so fast and I learn fast. but neither of us know how to use any of it. We've just like figured it out. So like we have a high ability to figure shit out, learn quickly, high intellectual horsepower, and a willingness to embrace change. That's what I would say is, do you have those things, and then that translates to other things. But if it's like, no, 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 then I'd be like, you could train them all day and they're like never gonna pick this up. Or they're not, or they're gonna be like, why do we need a new system? Because they hate change, and you're like, oh, the only way we can grow is to keep changing all the time. So that's like a bad fit. So,
That's great. I think we're at, those are the questions we're asking ourselves, and I appreciate you guys.
yeah.
Thanks.
Anyone else have any people stuff? There's a lot of people stuff customer-wise too.
Yes. So what has your employee journey been since you started the store? Like, do you, as a founder, feel bad when you have to cut someone? Do you drag people along too long before cutting them? I'm at a place where I feel like it's a talent. We have a talent, professional service company. And so if they don't have the talent, it usually takes a little while for us to figure it out because they can demonstrate it in the interview. What's your talent journey been like?
So my talent bar is like substantially lower than yours, but at Zappos our talent bar was super high, along with the culture bar that was like extremely high. And so I, for example, when you're asked, if you're 100% right, and like one of the positions that I was most proud of the hiring process for was I needed someone who had good attention to detail. They were like our last line, so at 6 p.m. we changed the homepage and the email every day, which is like insanity. I don't think we did not need to do that. Eventually we did it, but there was like years where we did that every day, and we had new promotions every day, and they all had to be priced appropriately and like show up correctly on the link. Anyhow, we needed someone who was like literally coordinating all that and checking every single link, and it's like attention to detail. And you ask people in interviews, Lexi, do you have high attention to detail? To them they do, and you're like, what's the bar? Like, how do we like make this thing like very explicit? So I used to give assessments where I would sit in a room and I gave every single person the same exact assessment because HR said that that's okay if everyone got the same one. Because I'm always like talking to legal and HR, I'm like, I don't want to get in trouble. So I gave them assessment and I sat in the room with them and I like worked on my laptop while they had time, and I literally gave them tasks where I was like, will you look through these docs if you see anything that's like misspelled, or I gave them kind of ambiguous tasks, or that I knew they had to ask me a question because I wanted someone who would ask if they didn't understand. And I just sat there, and like 9 out of 10 people would like not ask questions. They would not notice spelling errors, like all those things that you're like, oh, those are key behaviors. And so like that was the assessment to get hired. Or it was like, show me proof of it, or I'll create my own thing. Like,
That's a great idea.
so you could create a scenario in which you're like, hey, our interview process is kind of interesting. It wasn't like high pressure, and it wasn't like overly long or anything. It was just like 20 minutes. It only took like 20 minutes, maybe.
That's a great idea because we give people a writing test, but we should give them an editing test.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a great idea.
Yep, and then you're like, hey, also a lot of your job is editing other people's stuff. We all look at each other's work. Can you look at this? And just whatever. You can see how comfortable they're in like Word doc or whatever. If they ask you a question like, oh, how do I leave a comment? Or I don't know. So yeah, that's a big part of it. We are, in retail, you just like assume you're gonna kind of roll through a lot of people because you're paying them. Like we pay $15 an hour. And I'd love for it to be more, but we're like 4 months old. So like as soon as I know, like, oh, we make this amount of money, I like bump everyone up. And we're learning. Like I'm not gonna lie, we're still at the point where we keep making new like policies because we didn't see things coming. We'll be like, oh, we need a policy for that. Like there's a lot still in the gray, but there are a good amount of like, I would say 80-20 rule. Like we have like 80% of the stuff figured out. And we're very explicit about it. And so if someone's not performing, the first question I ask is, well, did we mess up training them? Is it clear? Do we know they read it? Did they sign something saying they read it? Did someone like actually show them? Did they have a chance to ask questions? And is it did they just do it one time? Like, So I always assume it might be me, or it might be Kat,
That's
or, you know.
great advice.
And then the next time, if I'm like, oh no, they were fully trained and they've worked with multiple people and that happens, I immediately am like, I'm sorry, it's not working out. I also have lots of, because I don't pay a lot of money and I really want to keep people, I have as many benefits as I can provide that don't cost me anything. So everyone that works there gets as many free booths as they want, you know, like stuff like that. They get discounts, they get 30% off anything in the store that they want to buy, like anything I can do that I'm just like, thank you for doing what you do. I try to, also because we're growing and I want to become bigger. Like I worked with Tara, sorry for your spot, Tara, but Tara was my first boss at Zappos. She's amazing, and we worked in content. That was like the first job was like content at Zappos. And Tara's like, hey, I'd love to like work at the store for fun. I'm like, great. But while she was there, she's like, oh, I just have to suggest, because she thinks like an entrepreneur, she can't help herself. She's like, here's a whole email of all the content I think you should have. And I was like, I love it. Can you do it? I will pay you to help me do these things. And I trust her. And she's like, yeah. So like we're producing a bunch of content, a bunch of videos. So like trying to also, for all, to keep the talent I have is to give them outlets to like do stuff they're good at that I also need. So yeah, Tara's really good at that. Any other people stuff? I don't know everything about people, but I do love them. To try to solve a problem, it's a problem. Okay. So spreading the word from 0 to 1. Damn double-sided marketplace. It's really something. So the two sides of my marketplace are booths and inventory, and then the other side is customers. You have to have both sides for a double-sided marketplace to obviously work. So the first thing is, for me, was I was like, I need to find the right product. So for this, I exerted as much control as possible. So you do things in the beginning that like aren't sustainable because you want to just have control over that experience for the customers. That's why I gave booths away to people that I know had like amazing closets. And that's why we started a locked case. And I was like, well, I could do this double-sided marketplace where I see who has designer bags they want me to put in there, but instead I just bought bags myself. I was like, forget it. I'll just provide inventory, I'll show by example, and then the next thing you need to do to get customers, you need to start bat signaling to your people, which might be oddly more specific than you think, but you don't want to die on them being everything to everyone. So like, I talk to people like I'm talking to my girlfriends, like when I'm on Instagram. Like I'm talking to Tara. I'm like, hey girl, you got a closet full of stuff? Me too. I bet there's some value in there. Bring it down. Like it's just me and I'm authentically myself because it's lucky that my customer is like, I'm my own customer. And so you also have to become the mayor of Cringe Mountain. It's gonna feel awful until it's not. When you get on Instagram, I always joke around like, is your business a secret? Oh, it's not? Well, I would just tell like literally everyone. Like tell everybody all the time what you're doing and take up more space. I say this especially for people whose whole life have been told like, be smaller, let other people talk, let other people shine, take turns. And business is like, no man, it's your show. You're the ringleader, go for it. And then also, would you rather temporarily feel cringe or have your business fail? Like, you gotta do it. You just gotta do it. And I'll tell you something that I think is amazing is like, when I got on Instagram, I was freaked out that I would just be hit with like a bunch of negative comments. I don't know why. I just assume like, oh, there's all these people out there. And I'm like literally copying a franchise. I'm like, what if they have a bunch of loyal followers? To be fair, the franchise I'm copying's audience is different than my audience. So like, there's not really a lot of crossover. I love what they do, and I feel like it's for a younger customer, and I feel like my customer is like an older demographic. And so, but I was scared. I was like, oh my God, they could just unleash the beast and everyone could try to take me down. I was like very in my head about it. But for the most part, people are lovely and they're amazing. And people who are successful are never gonna make a comment being like, that's not good. Because they've done it. They like respect it. They're like, oh shit, look at Lexi. She's making all that content, like you go girl. And they're like in your DMs being like, love this, this is fire. They're like liking stuff, they're sharing, like they've been there and they get it. The only people that ever make a negative comment are people who literally create an Instagram account to make a mean comment and don't even have their face because they don't build shit. They don't build shit and no one gives a shit what they have to say because they don't know anything. So you shouldn't either. And so I will tell you, like, I get more positive reinforcement and help from people on the internet. Like, I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna try to do a whatnot. And people are like, I run a whatnot, let me tell you all my tips. Like, it's so helpful and people are lovely. So it feels awful. And I had a private Instagram account before, but just like do it anyways. I promise you it's not bad out there. How many days on time?
Pretty good. It's
Okay.
12:40.
Okay. So the next thing, now you've got your people, right? You're like, I have my store manager or I have my leader. When I'm not there, I trust this person. They can make smart decisions. Now it's like systems, so you can scale, and obviously service. I feel like I could talk for just an hour on service, but I won't, obviously. So spoiler alert, I don't have any magic tools, and almost all the tools I use are free. Any other tools that I use are like very specific to like consignment store and probably not helpful to you. So they're like, to me there is no magic. It's not, the magic isn't in the tools, it's how you think about things. It's the mindset. So I think in systems and processes. And I think AI is actually helping a lot of us with this because you have to be very specific to get like, to write a good prompt, to get a good result. And you should think about business in the same way. Like, how do I tell my employees, my manager, maybe you've built up something, you're ready to hand it off so you can build something new. You need to be able to take all the things you do, probably subconsciously, and think about how you would explain it to someone else to do it. And that will help you repeat at scale. And then it should be a task that like literally anyone could be trained on. And for most businesses, a lot of the jobs, you think there's like some magic or only you or only whomever. It's probably not true. And you could probably exert more magic if you got out of the weeds of some of the like the day-to-day of your business. So for the gray areas in your business where you cannot like create rules because stuff happens that you never saw coming, new scenarios happen, that's where you need to define your culture. So like, for example, a customer comes in and says, I had a pair of shoes, I went to pick them up, they weren't here, I think they're stolen, pay me for them. It's like, well, I'm not there, I can't handle all of those. Those could happen like every day, all day. So I can train someone to be like, okay, well let me look around the store, do you have a picture, who would you price them at? And they can start to like Blue's Clues, Sherlock Holmes, a couple things. But let's say ultimately, like, we don't know what happened to them. Because sometimes customers move stuff throughout the store and then people like take them home with them in their bag when they're packing up and they don't realize like that wasn't their shoes to begin with. It's a lot of things that happen. So you need a culture where it defines like what they're going to do when that happens. And so I've told my employees, you're free to give away all the boots you want. If you're like, oh, I can't find my $20 pair of shoes, do not spend 3 hours looking throughout the store for their shoes. That's not worth your time. Just say, they might pop back up. Usually they do. Sometimes people take stuff home, they return it. Can I give you free proof? Would that be better? You know, like, because I'm really sorry. They go, okay, great. You know, and it's like, I also have a core value of like, do things that make sense. Like, even if I tell you to do something a certain way, but then a weird scenario pops up and it makes no sense to do it that way, don't. As long as you can explain to me why you did it, that's fine with me. So these are like some values that like, you know, you could use. Do things that make sense, that's what I use. Zappos, deliver well through service. Make it right. Do everything possible to expand human potential. That's Nike. Stand for safety. That's like a Uber. Embrace the adventure. I forget who that is, REI or something. So like, whenever you're like, I can't think of every scenario, I can't train you in everything, that's when like strong culture comes in. Okay, I've skipped this at your own risk. Service. If you don't have a core value of service, I am literally coming for your business. please build it with shitty service, because I will be right up next to you being like, I do that, but I treat you well. And people will be like, take my money. Like, no one would, if there's ever an option that has better service, people always take the better option. They'll literally eat at a restaurant that's not as good, but they're treated better, they'd rather go there. Please create core values, but like, if you forget this, it's fair warning, I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna build it, but with service. And then of course, oh the horrors, whenever you have a 0 to 1, you got a lot of stuff that goes wrong, and there's multiple mindsets you can have. One which is, this is awful, this is horrible, everything is ruined, like all the negative things, because it will happen. Or like, I tell myself this phrase, I go, one day this is gonna be a funny story. And that's just enough, the levity is just enough for me to like get through it without falling apart. Because a lot of shit has happened. This is just like a little bit of the stuff that's happened, but like a lot of shit's gone down. And I'll joke around, I'll be like, burn the store down, just burn it down, I'm done. But like, the night before we opened the store, all the tagging guns I had like didn't work with all the needles I had. Like, you literally couldn't tag one thing. So I had to like run around town trying to find, I was like, oh my god, I hope this works. We've had toilet clogs, we'd have the system go down, we'd have the internet go out, we've had curtains that fell down, chairs broken, poopery stolen twice. I don't know why now we locked the bathroom door, it's so insane. We've had credit card processor issues, software issues, internet issues. We needed to renovate a space that almost gave me a panic attack. Like, I was like, I'm gonna show the journey of me renovating this space on the internet, and I was like, I can't show this. No one will believe that it got better. I'm like so embarrassed. I still have never shown what the store looked like before I renovated it, because it's so bad. One time I was so tired. I have to Venmo payment when I first set it up. It was like, you can't Venmo anyone. I like literally went to the bank, was like, I need 79 checks, and they're like, they're $3 each. I was like, yep, like, I don't know, what am I gonna do? Now I have a whole bunch of checks. You can get them from Walmart, they're super cheap. I Venmoed someone $8,000 once because I was tired, because I'm working on doing all the processes so everything works like without me, but I still Venmo people, and one time I was tired, I Venmoed someone $8,000, and Venmo was like, contact them and see if they'll give it back to you. I was like, I'm like, one day this is gonna be a funny story. And thankfully the seller was lovely, and she Venmoed me $8,000 back. I owed her like $80. And then I hate in Venmo that the decimals like on the left. I'm like, why? I'm like, decimals always every. I digress. I got the worst review of all time, and the first 24 hours was 3 pages long, and it was during the grand opening, and someone expected me to have everything running perfectly, and it didn't, and it was insane. And I wrote like a full apology, and then like 2 weeks later, it just was gone. And I don't know if they removed it, but like, it was insane. Let's see, we've had no shows, we've had no training on systems that we bought. We've done no open, no close protocol. We're just like winging it in the beginning. There's very interesting folks downtown that need like mental health services that show up. My garage is now a storage. There's been weird returns, there's been fakes in the stores, there's been people's items missing, but they're in another booth, and it was a level 10. All the things, but the people that you meet when you build stuff, I think are the best. The people that are in a second hand are the coolest people on earth. They just are. They're more creative, they're more interesting, they're like, you know, some people like to go to Target and see a thing on a model and they go, oh great, you've done the work for me, I'm just gonna buy that. Well, these are like the opposite people. They're like, give me a random piece and I'm gonna turn it into something cool. Like, they like just go off-roading with all of the things, and not just with their apparel and their accessories, but probably in life, and I love it. The business you create is fulfilling and not draining. If you've done it right, you should get energy every time you work on your business if you're like a builder. It shouldn't feel like, oh God, why did I create this? I gotta do this again today. It should be like, I get to do this. How freaking cool is that? I built a business that I freaking love. And it's just a more interesting life, I think, when you build stuff. And so yeah, so that's my contact information. If you need anything or ask me questions, I don't know, but yeah, and that's it. So come visit us downtown. Any other questions or things? Yeah,
How do you balance a full-time job at under
because this one runs mostly without me. I only need to work like 30 minutes a week.
That's it?
Yeah, and I'm automating that. So, but I read that book, and then that was always my goal. Is like I don't want to spend like my startup costs were under $100,000, but I'm like I don't want to spend $75,000 to employ myself. That makes no sense. So I just like I want to be in the lane where you just build. So the only way you can build is to not always be maintaining. So that's the thing I'm most proud of is like when the store was less than 4 months old, I could have kind of pieced out on it and it would have been fine. But yeah, but you gotta really be strategic when you're building it to do that. And the thing that takes me half an hour is sending the memo still.
I didn't know that came from you.
So yeah.
I would have said thank you.
Yeah, I know. People are like, I always say like, I'll Venmo pay you. I only promise to do it like during Monday through Friday because I'm like, I don't want to do this on the weekend. And like the week in Republic Goods ends up Friday night. And like Saturday morning is when the new week starts. And people like all weekend will be like, when are you gonna pay me? You're gonna pay me. And I'm like, I'll pay all of you on Monday at the same time. But yeah. And then we have all our reporting is getting automated right now. We have it semi-automated and we only send out reports 3 times a week, but we're getting it fully automated so that it automatically sends out every single night to every single person. But in the beginning, I did all that. Like, I think you said, you're like, oh my gosh, the reporting bubble, and I go, oh yeah, like that, I did that at first. It would take me like 3 hours a week to like do everyone's reporting and email it out to everybody. But customers thought it was strategic, especially because I work in tech. They're just like, oh, she coded. I was like, I don't know how to code. Like, I just don't. So you kind of make magic behind the scenes, and people think it's, oh, look, it must all run automatically.
Yeah, and the easier you make it to work with you, the more likely people want to keep working with you.
Yeah, we try to make the barrier to entry like as low as possible, which is why, like, the thing that takes the longest when you're setting up a booth is filling out tags. So we're like, take them home. Take them home, fill them out for a month, fill them out 5 minutes every day. Like, we don't care, you don't have to do it in the store. It's a better experience to not do it in the store on a Saturday morning. So we try to like, oh, you want reporting? You don't have to call us. We're just gonna send you it as often as we can. People will tell people like, oh, if you want a picture of your booth to see what it looks like, just text us. We have like an iPhone. Yeah, well, like we'll send you. People will say, can you merchandise my booth or give me feedback? We're like, sure. So we say yes to like literally almost everything. Yeah.
If I missed it, I apologize. When did you open?
March 8th.
March 8th. So after you go through the whole year, you'll have at least your first year of sort of data and demographics. Do you have kind of a goal of somewhere, I guess the question, do you hope to open? I know you went off the franchise model, not necessarily that you're going to franchise this, but do you have the hopes or aspiration to open a second location?
Yeah.
And do you have a certain metric that you want to get to before you even consider that? Or have
That's a
you-
great question.
We were profitable like first week, just right out of the gate. I don't own inventory. In retail, inventory is like the death knell. It's the worst. I can't tell you how many conversations we had at Zappos about inventory. It's like, a nightmare. So I don't own any inventory. So we were pretty profitable in the beginning. At this point, I could pay myself back. And so, like, we're doing pretty good. My next thing is being able to raise the minimum pay for my store employees. That's like, so I'm like, I have these things, but like, really it's like, okay, I need to have enough money saved. Like, the business is so new, I can't get like much traditional good funding. There's like some randos online, they're like, oh, I'll give you $500,000 at like some crazy interest rate, and you're like, But like a bank is like, we need to see years, and I'm like, I have no chill, so I won't be years before I start another one. So right now I'm just trying to get enough money saved up from the business to then invest in another. So right now that's my goal, is like, do I have enough money to open another and then it's like game on, and then finding the right location. I've learned a lot about location. I love our location. I think it's great, but like Vegas is a weird, unique city for businesses. Like I'd love to have foot traffic, but it's like downtown summer. Like where do you walk around Vegas and stuff, and so figuring it out. But I do think Vegas could support more of these, but I'll go somewhere else too. I don't care. I have no chill. Yeah.
I don't really have so much a question, but I did want to say thank you. I took a lot of notes. I really appreciate it. Somebody over here had mentioned, I think you mentioned like just the government red tape, and sometimes it gets like kind of overwhelming. I'm really lucky I get to work at LVGEA, which is the Economic Development Agency here. And I just wanted to kind of share that there are programs like the SSBCI loans that the government will actually help you pay for 80% of the collateral if you are looking for a small business loan. And they'll help pay for, so you go into basically a relationship with the government. And I'm trying to figure out better ways through Startup Vegas to actually get this kind of information out to folks, because I wrote an op-ed because the state can't pay for any advertisement, so it got out there and they started getting, but I'm just, listening to you, it's like there are tools and tricks and there are frustrations, but then there are actual things, they just don't have the money to advertise it. So I'm trying to figure out ways to be a better conduit to share that information, because there definitely is help for the startup ecosystem out there. It's just, it's fragmented.
That would be so great. I feel like even just on the website, you guys could be like, here's a portal with a million links of like useful things depending on where you are in your business. Or like a GPT, if there's a way to give like, do like a public GPT that's like all things Nevada business. And I can just ask it like, I want to build another thing. I need funding. I'm less than a year old. Are there any government programs? Like I ask ChatGPT that nowadays. Sometimes it's okay, but yeah. Cause we all want access to that. Oh, the other thing I was gonna say, for all the stuff that you don't like to do, go find someone else you can just pay to do it. Like you don't have, like I still hate all the tax stuff and the bookkeeping, and I don't wanna do it, so I just like hired a bookkeeper to like do it for me. Cause it's worth it for me, it's worth the money. And I don't even know how to organize it properly. I was like, even if you just pay a bookkeeper for like a quarter or your first month and they set it up, you're like, thanks for setting this up, just make sure the QuickBooks is like, you can put, take it with you. You don't have to do all that. I don't know how to do a lot of stuff. I'm okay with failing and figuring it out. Basically.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I know you said a lot of like your regular pedestrians participate with Republic Goods. I wanted to know, as far as like local brands, have local brands ever participated with your group and like putting their actual brand inventory?
Oh. Some people, if it's like overstock or something, or all on sale, yes. But like when people come into the store, when you think secondhand, you're thinking like you're gonna get a deal, or you're gonna find something really like unique. Like vintage is kind of like an outlier because you can charge a lot for a good vintage. But people have wanted to and they've tried and they put like their items, but people are like, this is like the price I would buy it in a store, or I don't know this brand. So people could, but I would say that's the expectation. That's another thing is like, with a business like this, you have to let go of a lot of control. Like I don't control what's in a booth. I have like 3 things you cannot sell in your booth, like categories to create guardrails, like no food, no beauty, no electronics. Otherwise, I'm like, go for it, whatever. But it's funny, like the staff, not necessarily terrible, like she's heard a lot of these, will walk around and be like, this isn't cool. They shouldn't be able to sell this in the store, or this is awful, or this is horrible. Are you okay with this? And I go, listen, I could tell them they can't sell it because I don't like it, but then they're gonna hate me and they're gonna hate the store. The market will vote with their money and they won't buy this, and this person will eventually go, no one wants it, so I'm gonna take it home and not sell it. And to me, I'd rather let the market tell them it's not good than like me tell it. But I think people could try to sell industry professionals do really well. People who like work at Lululemon and they have like a ton of it, and then they have like a closet of Lululemon. Like that's exciting. Like I'll give them free boots. I was like, I call it like an industry insider. Like you work in the industry, like I'll give you free boots. I also have like secret programs, like a secret menu, like in and out. So if someone does like over a certain amount, I email them and I go, hey, you're a VIP, congratulations, free gift inside. Here's a coupon that you can use for the next quarter and get as many booths as you want, because they sold so much. I know people love their stuff. But I don't advertise that to people. It's just like a surprise and delight kind of like moment.
Smart.
Yeah, but yeah. Any other things, questions?
All right, let's pull 2 more raffle tickets and then you're
Oh,
free
yeah.
to go. Raffle.
Thank you, Noel. That was very good.
Exciting.
Do you wanna pull one?
Yes, I'd love to pull one. I love giving stuff away.
119.
Okay, this is 113.
Jimmy first.
Oh, my mom!
Yay!
I swear I didn't know her number. You saw that. Sorry. DQ.
Like, I don't want your toes.
If there was a trip to Hawaii
What's
or
in the
New
bag?
Zealand,
Maybe she doesn't. Maybe we give her someone else.
You want to give it?
I'll take hers.
Okay, you give someone else if you don't want it.
We're getting excited.
No, I gotta make sure my dad doesn't want it, so that'd be really bad. 115. Phew, okay, all right. I genuinely don't know that man, so.
Well, thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow at Level Up, and yeah.
Great job. Thank you.
Cool.
It was so fun. So fun.
All right.
a picture with you? With bags?
What?
Do you mind if it goes on?
Oh, yeah. I also text Lori.
Thank you.
Respond about the means about it. Oh, what you say? Oh God, I suck. She said. Let me check my messages. Okay, so maybe she'll check my Instagram. I was like, what are you doing for home? Right here. Be a service. My dad never wants to start a business. I'm always like, you should. He makes the best meatballs. I'm sure he sells these.